Good morning, children and mums and dads. Today I'm going to read you a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time on Storytime. It's Binky's Time to Fly by Sharmila Collins and Carolina Rabei. It's a lovely book about hope and fulfilling your life's vision, and author royalties for this book are all donated towards a charity set up for research into epidermolysis bullosa, which is not something I'd heard of before, but it is something that you will maybe get an inkling of what it might be from the story in the book. It is called Binky's Time to Fly, and it starts with an egg on a leaf. There is the leaf. And Binky was waiting. First he was an egg, and then he was a hungry caterpillar, because that's what happens to some of the eggs that hatch on leaves. And now he was in his cocoon. And then it's the exciting part. But what he really wanted to be was a butterfly with big and beautiful wings. An egg, a caterpillar, a cocoon, then a butterfly. That's what happens in the garden all the year round. At last the day came. The sun was shining, and its warmth gave Binky strength, and he pushed and pushed and cracked his cocoon, and he came to say hello to the world. Hello. Can you see? There is Binky, just out the egg. But when Binky opened his wings, they didn't work. What a sad thing for Binky when he was expecting so much. They were weak and pale and silvery, wispy and unfinished wings. They had a wing shape and wing frame, but only a few strands, and there were holes instead of colour, and they would not and could not let him fly, no matter how hard he tried. And butterflies are meant to fly. Binky hung his head low. His heart was full of sorrow and disappointed dreams. His fragile wings shimmered in the pale moonlight. What could he do? He slunk away and hid under a leaf, unhappy at being different, and shocked and scared, too shocked and scared to find help. Two crows came along to see if Binky was worth eating, but they laughed and stared at him instead. There he is. There isn't much to eat on him, they cawed, and they flew away. That was lucky. And then two butterflies, who had been caterpillars at the same time as Binky, came to find him. "We will help you," they said. "Together we can fix your wings." And Binky crept out from behind his leaf and smiled. Might he be able to fly after all? First the butterflies found a friendly bluetit to carry Binky to the zoo, and they found silkworms munching on mulberry leaves, and spiders busily making their webs. Please will you help us mend Binky's wings? The butterflies asked. How will they do that? So the silkworms and spiders were glad to help. The silkworms spun fine silver silk threads, and the spiders wove the threads into Binky's wings to make them strong. Then they asked the bees to inject them with all the colours of the rainbow in wild and intricate patterns. And Binky stayed very still and let the butterflies flutter above until at last the work was finished, and the silkworms and spiders and bees stood back, admiring their handiwork. "It's amazing what we can do if we all work together," they said to each other, because they'd never done anything like that before. But Binky still had his eyes shut. "Open your wings, Binky," they all called together. "Open your wings." Shall we all shout? "Binky, open your wings! Binky, open your wings!" And Binky took a deep breath, and very, very slowly he opened his wings. His heart was full of hope and longing. Were his wings strong? Would they lift him into the air? Would they let him fly? His wings felt heavier and more robust, and they felt as if they might let him fly, and he opened his eyes, and the wings were magnificent, and they were strong, and there were no holes, just woven silk threads with bold and beautiful colour, probably like no butterfly had ever had before. "I am different to all the other butterflies, and I always will be," said Binky. "But I don't care. All I want to do is fly." "Thank you," he said. "Thank you, bees and silkworms and spiders." And look, his wings are beautiful and they're different. Each side is different. He thanked all his new friends, and the butterflies, the blue-tit, the silkworms, the spiders, and the bees. And the butterflies rose into the air and fluttered off above him. "Come on, Binky," they called. "It's time to fly." There they go. And Binky tested his wings, and he opened them carefully, and once, twice, 3 times, and then, carefree and happy, the silver in his wings glinting in the sun, Binky rose up into the air and flew to join his friends. There he goes. And that is the end. And I wonder if Binky ever went back to see the spider and the silkworms and the bees that helped him. That was Binky's time to fly. That is the end of this story. I have a song for you. It is about some little creatures that live in gardens, and there isn't a butterfly, but there are some funny little creatures. I've sung this often in the shop, and I don't know where this song comes from, but I used to love singing it long ago. Underneath the shade of a rhubarb leaf lived a little hedgehog and a pair of hungry little wagtails, eager for to play. Ring-a-ring-a roses all the day, and they all lived together together 'neath the rhubarb leaf at the bottom of the gardens in Sycamore Street. In a shady grotto lived a little worm. He's not very bright, though he's trying very hard to learn. Nobody loves him the way he loves himself. He even asked his best friend, and he won't tell. And they all lived together 'neath a rhubarb leaf at the bottom of the gardens in Sycamore Street. Then, one day, disaster struck. It was a rotten piece of luck. A giant entered by the garden gate to get some rhubarb for his evening plate, which he ate straight off the plate. There's another stick of rhubarb not so very far away, so they all went over the very, very next day. I'm sure you don't believe me, but if you want a treat, just look into the gardens in Sycamore Street. Yes, they all lived together 'neath the rhubarb leaf at the bottom of the gardens in Sycamore Street. Yes, they all lived together 'neath the rhubarb leaf at the bottom of the gardens in Sycamore Street. Goodbye. Thank you for listening. See you another time. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.